Welcome. I feel like I haven't been on here for ages, so welcome. My name is Hannah from Reality Awareness, and I am the Life Purpose Queen, and I have my shiny sparkle on tonight because my other filter, my favorite filter, wasn't there. So I chose this one, which is pretty significant for the Ascension Symptoms live stream for tonight. This has been very powerful for many, and I'm just going to share this because for some reason it wouldn't let me go live on my Reality Awareness page. It was like doing all these things, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go live on my personal page because I don't know why it's not letting me go live. So all these things stopping me from going live, but I wasn't going to let it stopped me. So let me share this and let me be present with you. If you're watching live, say hello. Let me know you're here. Hey Sylvia. Good morning for you. It's evening here. So let me share this. And let me know how you're going. Let me know if you've been feeling the Ascension Symptoms. Let me know if you've even heard of Ascension Symptoms before. Let me know how you're feeling. Would love to know. Hey Jade. So I'm sharing this. I'm doing this from my personal page because for some reason it wasn't loading on my business page. I'm like, whatever's then. I'm going live on my personal page. Da-da-da-da, you won't stop me. I feel like I haven't done a live stream for ages for some reason, and I'm like going, oh, what's going on here? I felt like there was all these, I guess maybe blocks coming up. I think I shared the other day around like shifting to the next level of my business. Tomorrow my staff members coming on, and so all this kind of, not fear, but it is a fear of some sort, I guess, or some sort of, not sabotage. It's just when you know, step up a level, it's like moving through the stuff that comes up, right? And, you know, if you read my post the other day, it is around, you know, letting go of control, stepping into more trust and, you know, on your life purpose. It is that sense that, you know, we're not here to do it all on our own. And when we can accept and receive support and help, that means that I can be more of service to you guys and be more present than what I have been. Been very active in the Life Purpose Mentorship, which, by the way, there's only 3 days left to get in at the $47 rate. That's $47 a month grandfather. That means that when it jumps up to $97, it won't affect you. So the link's above because there is only 3 days, and I've been very active in there. So I feel like I've been very quiet on my personal page and on my business page because I've been in there, right? So I think there's a couple of you here that are in there too, actually. Okay, so let me know how you're feeling, because I wanted to jump on and talk about, you know, like this vibe that's been going on recently, or in the past kind of, what, I guess 48 hours, maybe a little bit before, right? Perhaps last week as well. And it's almost like, I guess I liken it to Ascension Symptoms, and I mean, who really knows, right? But when we look at, you know, moving in vibration and, you know, planetary and, you know, there's kind of overwhelm. I wanted to speak to the overwhelming specifically. That's right, why I wrote it on the top of my live stream. Because overwhelm is just when we're learning something new, okay? And when we learn something new, we are creating new brain neural pathways, right? And when we create new brain neural pathways, we are creating a new reality. We're creating a new thought pattern. We're creating a new way of life. We're creating new actions that we're taking in our day-to-day life. We're creating a new life. Now, the thing with overwhelm is that I'm seeing a lot of people going, oh my God, I got so much to do every day. Like, you know, and it's a reality, right? It's like if we did all the things that we're supposed to do every single day to make us feel good, we'd like get to the end of the day, we're like, oh, okay, so I've just done all those things today. I want to say, and the message that I'm getting is it gets quicker and quicker and quicker. Okay, so when we're implementing something new, it is overwhelming because we're creating new brain neural pathways of learning something new, right? Just like when we first hit high school, or when we first hit university, if you went to university, or if you first started learning a new course of some sort, or if you started driving a car, it's all very overwhelming, right? And now, as I always say, when you're learning to drive a car, you don't even think about it. So remember that when you're implementing new practices into your daily routine, into your daily life, that it is going to be overwhelming, and it will get easier and easier and easier, right? So what I always recommend to people is when you are implementing a new practice into your life, right? We've got busy day-to-day lives, right? Most of us have got family, kids at school, or, you know, our busy lives, right? So what I say to you guys when you're implementing new practices, whether it's journaling or creating the bling effect. You don't like the bling effect? I quite like it. I thought it was really appropriate for Ascension Symptoms. I really quite enjoy it, and my usual filter wasn't there, so plus it wasn't working on my business page, and I'm like, on my business page. So I was like, you know what, whatever's, I'm just going live on my personal page. So that's fine. If something distracts you, oh, this is the other thing I wanted to talk about actually. So how to get your motivation back, right? So continuing on that, let me just write this down, because I wanted to talk about how to get, well, I've got how to get your motivation back, but it was an in effect of sabotage. Big key right now, right? I'm seeing so many people stepping up into their life purpose, and I'm also seeing so many people sabotage it, right? So many people are just like going on wildfire, and then all of a sudden they're just like boom. So what I was saying, when you're implementing something new into your life and you get overwhelmed because, oh my God, there's so many things to implement, right? What I always recommend is, we've got busy day-to-day lives, we've already got full lives, yeah? So implement something, commit to once a week for a month. Then on the second month, build it up to 2 days a week, and then on the third day can build it up to 3 days a week, and so forth. Okay, now the reason I suggest such a slow, intro to it, if you feel alive to go further and do more every day, we'll do that, right? Except the thing that I don't want you to do or see you doing is going, oh, I need to do all these things every day because, she's doing it and he's doing it and they said to do it. And you're like, go really well for a couple of days or a week or a month even. And then all of a sudden you fall down and you go, oh my God, this is so hard. This is like, got so much to do. And you get into this overwhelmed state, right? So one is that you've just moved to a next level. You've implemented all these practices, and now the kind of reality, because we've been doing it here, so now it shifts into the embodiment of being and doing it. So whatever's not in alignment of your vibration will shift out of your body. That means relationships, careers, anything that's not in alignment, right? If you have got something in your physical body, you might get physically sick as well, while your vibration shifts to a new higher level. And the other thing that I wanted to say to that is, when you actually commit to, say, once a week for a month, and then you move it up to 2 days a week for the next month, and then 3 days a week, so say it's like an exercise routine or something that's really kind of hard to you. When you do it slowly like that and you commit to once a week is manageable, right? Whereas if you go, oh yeah, I'm going to do it every day, and then whatever happens, you don't do it on a day, you kind of feel worse about yourself because you haven't done the thing. When you commit to 1 day a week, it's manageable and you feel good about yourself because you've committed to that 1 day a week, right? So 1 day a week for a month, and then 2 days a week for a month, and then it is a slow, it is a slower process, obviously. But it's, especially if it's something big like, a new exercise routine or something like that, then it's an actual, stronger, what's the word? I guess it's a stronger way of implementing it into your being, because it's a long-term commitment, right? If you think about losing weight or getting healthy or anything like that, it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to lose 10 kilos in one night, right? Unless you're really, really sick or something, right? Hey, Tabitha. So when you, let's talk exercise, when you commit to a routine of doing it, once a week for a month, you're going to feel good because you're like, oh, cool, I kept that commitment to myself, right? And that's really important. Because the thing that I also see people doing is, you know, with the sabotage, it's like they go along really well, and especially, you know, like implementing everything every day is freaking awesome. Like I highly recommend being at that space. But if it's all brand new to you, you know, working up to it is better than trying to, you know, force yourself on it, and then you feel bad because you miss a day and then you kind of go in this spiral and then you sabotage more, right? There's two things that you will sabotage because of, and that is because you just simply don't feel good enough to feel good or have the thing that you want, right? And then the other thing is that, you know, patterns will surface that are protecting you from being killed again. So in the Life Purpose Mentorship, it was like the first week that I did it in there, was healing from the witch hunts and, you know, going into depths of sabotage around, you know, what happens when you start implementing these amazing new practices and you see the power that you have in your life with journaling, for instance, or even just, you know, getting ideas and implementing them, seeing your business grow or moving in the direction you want in your life. Maybe it's your career, maybe you attract a new house. And you go really good, and then something happens, right? It's almost like the stories of, you know, when people say, it's just my luck. Oh, story of my life, right? When something bad happens because you're going really good, and then all of a sudden something bad happens, right? And you're like, oh, just my life, the story of my life, FML, you know, all that sort of stuff. It's like, well, hang on a sec. This is the story that you're telling yourself, right? But it's not the story you need to continue. And the way to look at that is to go, you know what? Actually, this was a pattern of my past, and now I'm releasing that. And I choose to not do that anymore. So, and then when it happens again, you kind of don't go into it as further again. And the other thing that I wanted to share was with this Ascension Symptoms right now, it's a space of like moving into a consciousness of pure, unadulterated love and compassion and gentleness and kindness and forgiveness, right? I'm wondering, can you let me know if you've been feeling kind of out of sorts, or if you've been feeling like you're not here, or if you've been feeling like all the old past is coming up, old relationships, old patterns, and you're like, I thought I dealt with this, or why is my past, why is my ex contacting me, why is this stuff happening again, right? Because when we move into a new life, everything else, like I said, that is not in alignment with that vibration falls away. And so people feel that have been connected to your past, and they may contact you, or you may just telepathically, intuitively feel them. And then when that stuff drops away, there is also like this kind of, it's a transition, right? In a transition, there's kind of a nothingness. In a foggy days, yeah, and lots of past. Yeah, it's really strong right at the moment. It's this space of transition where there's kind of nothing. You're like, you know, we felt that big rush of like, yes, and then all of a sudden it's just kind of blank. It's like that there's nothing there. And you're like, well, so what's happening? Is this the direction that we're supposed to be taking? Like, is this correct still? Right? We'll be questioning everything, because when we move through and when we go through that space, there is a space before the new comes in. And if you tune in very quietly, very deeply, and listen, you will feel it. There's an internal change, and you've probably felt that shift within yourself, right? And then there's a space of allowing the space. Because if you listen and feel very closely, you'll be like, yeah, I have changed. I feel that in myself, like something has shifted. But now there's kind of like, and you know, all, like I said, all that stuff in your vibration will have shifted out. Yeah, it's almost like, oh, the thing again. They've got to do the thing again. Yeah, it's almost like the joy has been lost out of it, right? It's a transition. So we move up. Everything that, you know, it's almost like everything gets rattled and shifted out of our vibration that's not in alignment. And then there's this kind of space, and it's just kind of like a, right? But if you feel really closely, you'll feel the internal changes already happen. And the thing I'm saying about if you feel really closely, what you can also feel right now, if you tune in super, super closely, is the shift that's happening out there. So when you actually tune in quietly, deeply, listen within, listen to the space, you'll actually hear that the space is probably really quite noisy. The space is really, really active. The space is shifting. And what you need to be doing is preparing. Because it might seem like nothing's happening. It might seem like, is it worth it? What's the point? It might seem like the quietness or the gap, is this transition. And if you're listening to this live stream and you're watching and you felt called to watch this, my message coming through to you that I had to jump on live stream and share tonight is that there's big stuff coming. In the next 6 months, life is going to be very different. And your task right now as a light worker, as an intuitive healer, as a leader, as someone who thinks differently to the rest of the tribe, is to be prepared. Right now, in this transition of what feels like nothing, of what feels like Groundhog Day, like you said, Tabitha. Yeah, you agree too, Robin. Of what feels like there's nothing happening, when you tune in ever so closely, you will be like, yep, I know I've changed inside. And old stuff from the past might be coming up because it's shifting out of your vibration. Be mindful and be authentic. Be conscious of how you're feeling now. And if you need to have a day where you sleep all day, if you need to have a day where you cry all day, you really need to honor that, because right now is a powerful transition time. And what is coming is for us to be prepared for it. Physical health, getting our life in order, right? Setting up what we know we need to get done as our purpose. And your purpose might be shifting out the emotional crap that's sitting in your heart, weighing you down. So trust if you need to cry. Trust if you need to unpack. Unpack your emotions. My Trust Intuition tribe, I did a special training in there for them of unpacking your emotions, meaning authentically acknowledging how you're feeling and then finishing with something you're grateful for. And if there is something in your reality that you don't know or you don't like, right? And you know what you want, but you're like, how am I supposed to get there? Like, why isn't this working? I know that there's this thing, but how am I supposed to do it, right? And it's like, what you need to be asking is, how do I become? How do I do that? How do I do that? That's where you need to shift the thinking, because you don't need to know the answer right now when you ask that question. But you asking that question instead of going, why isn't this working? I don't know. But when you can shift it and go, well, how do I be that? How do I do that thing? How do I get the motivation to do that? And as I always say, like asking the question, what is in my highest good to do right now? What is the most aligned action that I can take right now? What is so important to me right now that it must be done? When you can really listen and tune in this way, you guys watching this live stream, we are preparing. Like in the next 6 months, what are we now? So February, so what is that, August or something? Life is going to be very different. Stuff is coming, and if you really tune in, right, do it as I'm saying it, you would have felt the shift inside you. You would have. And it feels quiet, but if you listen, it's actually really, really noisy. And it's not like it's an internal noisy, it's more of an external noisy. Everything is rearranging itself out in the universe right now. And it's up to us to be prepared, to have our muscles tuned in, consciously choosing to be tuned in to what is the next step. And, you know, there's people, or you might see it's like, step up, do the work every day, hustle, push, right? I want you to be consciously aware, and I got this message strongly before I jumped on live stream to tell you that some days it may be push, and some days it may be hustle. Some days it's like, you know, but it's not like a forcing push. It's a flow push, right? And you go with that. And then when you feel like, I can't face that right now, you need to do what the most aligned action is. And that might be sleeping all day. And you need to trust that. Because when we think about the new earth, the new earth is not built on today's old structured society. It's not built on 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. When you really contemplate what new earth is, it's not that. It's being in line with your authentic intuition, with going with the flow. And, you know, people who don't understand it, but soon there's going to be massive shifts on the planet in a really big societal way. And it's up to us to be prepared for it, right? It's up to us. You wouldn't be here watching this live stream. You wouldn't be following my work. You wouldn't be agreeing if you weren't one of us. If you weren't being called. If you weren't stepping up already in your life, right? If you didn't resonate with having a life purpose, you'd be like, what a load of hogwash, right? But if you're like, this makes total sense, like you just said, Tabitha, you are being called to completely trust yourself. Whether that means sleeping all day, you know, like let things sleep. What can you say no to if you're feeling overwhelmed? Remember, you're learning a new process. You're implementing new things into your life. Yes. Remember, it's like driving a car. It is going to get easier. It's just you're embodying something completely different than what you have for the past 30, 40, 50 years, right? However old you are. So if you're resonating with this, please let me know. Tabitha says she hasn't slept in 3 nights, have been in bed. Yeah, that's big. You're welcome, Jan. Yeah, it makes so much sense, you know, because a lot of people think, we have to push and we have to turn up every day and we have to do that. Like you'll notice, you know, like, yeah, I've been very active in the Life Purpose mentorship, but I haven't been live streaming much publicly because that's been enough for me right now. And, you know, yes, there's been an internal battle going, I need to turn up on like public live stream. And I'm like, you know what? My energy is like at its end right now, or at its peak or whatever. And I just need to just rest for a minute. And it's not like I haven't been doing the work, because I've been turning up in my private groups doing the work. I've still been vlogging when I can, you know. I've been tending to my daughter because I knew that she was going away for a month, you know. They were my priorities at that time. Now that she's gone away, you might have noticed I still didn't live stream yesterday. I was like, I just need rest time. I didn't end up resting like I wanted to. Yeah, Demi, you're resonating too. Yeah. It's really big, right? There is big shifts happening in the world, and there's something about to, you know, shift. Like we can all feel it. There's an external rearranging going on right now, because for the past however many years, people like us have been doing this inner development, personal development, you know, like consciousness work. And now there's enough of us doing it on the planet, you know, it's the 100th monkey syndrome, right? It has to shift, right? The fuck budget is full. What is that? Can you please explain the fuck budget? What is that? I'm curious what that is, Demi. Please explain. Let me know what that is. So please give me some love hearts, or let me know that you're resonating with this, because it is that, you know, and I really felt called to jump on and just say, you know, like don't think that turning up and doing the work every day means you have to push every single day. Yes, there's a difference between pushing and there's a difference between discipline. Because discipline and doing what you know makes you feel good, which brings me back to the sabotage that I said I'd talk about as well, is that the sabotage, right, is that of not doing it because, oh, we don't feel like it, but then we go further and further and further off the path. Whereas when we do the things that actually bring us alive and we know they're good for us, they actually fuel us more. Yeah, you can sleep in peace tonight. Yeah, I felt really called to share that it's not always about the push. What is turning up every day is turning up to your intuition of what is right for you. Because if you're disconnected from that, you're not really turning up. And your unique intuition and your unique life purpose is different to everyone else's. And the way that we all get on life purpose is by turning up to your intuition on that particular day. And we all know that that changes every single day, right? All right, so I'm going to pull a card for the collective for this ascension. Because, oh yeah, I was going to say, you know, the sabotage is when we don't do the things we know we need to do. So it could be journaling, exercise, eating healthy, you know, and it doesn't mean like, oh, I can't have chips today, or it can't have potato because that's carbs and I'm not exercising. Like, get out of here, right? It is, the budget of spreading yourself is full. What, like, do you mean like spreading yourself too thin? Is that what you mean? I'm a bit lost in what you're saying. Sorry. It is about turning up to what makes you feel good. And, you know, how to get your motivation back is to do the things that you know you need to do to make yourself feel good. Could be exercise, sleeping more, you know, all of those things that make you feel good, and doing your purpose work. Could be writing, it could be turning up and doing a live stream, it could be, you know, doing those things that you know you need to be doing. Because when you don't, you get further and further and further away, and then you get easier pulled into the sabotage realm. And the thing I wanted to share is that when I say, are you listening and hearing very quietly in that space, that there's actually a lot of noise going on, because there's so many of us that have been working internally and the externally is now arranging. And if you listen carefully, you can feel it in your bones. And that's why discipline is so important right now in turning up, so we can be strong, connected, in tune, and ready for what is coming. So, can you hear the Divine Mother call? Oh, look at this. I pulled that Ascended Masters card. I don't think I turned this around. Let me turn this around. Okay. I just pulled a card for the collective, and I pulled the Ascended Masters card. Powerful, loving, and wise spiritual teachers are watching over and guiding you. So this whole, you know, ascension, oh, look at the card sparkling. How cool is that? I love that. Look at that. That's so cool. I think that's, yeah, there's Kuan Yin there. I think it might be Jesus up the top. Is it? Yeah. The Ascended Masters is that faith consciousness. Having the faith that we are being supported. Having the faith that we are being supported and surrounded by powerful Ascended Masters, that they are speaking to you. And the way that, hey Tina, the way that you connect with them is by trusting your intuition and what you are being guided to do every single day. What is the most aligned action that you can do every day? Because if you're pushing and pushing and pushing and think that that's hustling and doing the work, it's not actually, because you're pushing yourself further away from your aligned action, from your intuition. So can you hear the Divine Mother calling? I wanted to really give voice to as well the land and the mother, because she is screaming out. And that stillness, that gap, that transition. There's been a lot of people in a lot of pain lately, I've noticed, especially in the past week. A lot of frustration, anger, overwhelm. Like society's not working anymore, right? Like it is at a tipping point where something must change. Yeah, we all know that, right? And what can we do? Like, we're in this space of transition, we're just going, yeah, but you know, turning up and doing the work is what you're meant to be doing, right? And you need to trust with what your work is, your life purpose is. And I went the other day, about 2 weeks ago now, and did another healing on the land, the ceremonial clearing, healing and restructuring of the energetics on a property. And it's the second time that I've been called to do this work, like literally just like popped into it. It's stuff that I've known for a long time, but now I'm actually implementing it. And yeah, your discipline is to feel your center, your heart's truth. Yes, yeah, exactly. And in that space, inspiration comes 100%. It's 100% from being in that space. Lovely to have you here too, James. Thanks for joining live. And it is that space. It's, you know, your discipline is to be in your truth and to do what is your next aligned action that is right for you. It's 100% all that you have to turn up and do every single day. So in 3 days, in 2 days time, I'm running my Heal the Land online workshop. It's a 3-day workshop that I am sharing all the details of how to do the energy clearings on the land, and, you know, all the souls that are slaughtered. You might have seen my post a couple of weeks ago, you know, like obviously here in Australia, it was Australia Day not too long ago, and people are posting like saying sorry and change the date, and it's like, yeah, for one day we do that and then everyone goes back to their normal lives. And I'm saying that it's not enough to just be doing it one day a year and then just getting on with our lives, because that's what we all do. And I am being called more and more to go out to these properties and to literally help thousands of souls cross over to the other side who have been slaughtered, you know, hundreds of years ago, and are just sitting on the land in where we live today. And no wonder there's crime rates so high. No wonder people are going crazy and lost. No wonder people have got addictions through the roof. Like, there's so many souls that are stuck in between the worlds, on the physical plane and the spiritual plane, and they're angry and they're pissed off and they're resentful and they're angry, right? And the thing I say is, you know, when you're not in your body, who is? And the reason that it's so important to be in your body is because then you know you're in your body. You know you're grounded. You know it's you, right? So physical health, looking after your body, all that stuff, I talk about it all the time, right? Is getting you in your body, being comfortable and authentic with your own feelings, because if we don't want to feel our feelings, we get out of our head and we're out, right? So I am running a workshop in 2 days' time. Let me grab the link, the Heal the Land. So if it calls to you to increase your mediumship skills, to be able to, you know, have the tools that when you come into this sensation in a piece of property, you know, or driving through land, or you go to a certain area and then you're like, oh, this energy doesn't feel right here anymore. You know, the energies are changing on the land all the time, but Mother Earth is crying out for people like you and me to step up the work. So it's not enough for us to just be saying sorry one day a year and then getting on with our normal lives. I am being called to share the tools that I use in mediumship and helping the souls that have been slaughtered and are very angry and hateful and want revenge, and how to handle them so that they flick back into that space of love and forgiveness, and us forgiving them, and, you know, and then helping them cross over, but then as well to be able to heal the land. So as you know, forests are being, you know, fully destructed, right? Roads are going up, buildings are going up. You know, that in a suburb, when a house gets knocked down and rebuilt, for example, let alone a whole estate, right, where forest is cleared, and let alone the animals don't know where to go anymore, the native animals. It's also, you know, the energy ley lines and the frequencies of that particular piece of land, and then what that's doing underneath the land, and then how that affects the rest of the world, because it's all connected, right? So when we're mucking around with this piece of dirt on top to build all these things, all these energy vibrations are going in. So the earth is getting very unsettled. Mother Earth is crying out, and you can feel it when you go through a construction area or, you know, anywhere where forestry is being cleared or anything. You can feel the pain, right? So many people are like, oh, don't cut down the trees, right? It is that sense, and I'm being called to share the tools to help, one, with the slaughtered and the, you know, the souls that are stuck here, and then two, how to help Mother Earth with healing the land and, you know, like the construction's going on. So what do we do with that? Yeah, it's all right to be angry, you know, with people not understanding and completely knocking down forests and all that sort of jazz, but that's a reality, and we can't physically change that, but we can energetically change it and support our Mother Earth. And this is what I'm being called to teach and pass on these tools. So let me grab the link right now and pop it in the comments for you. So this is a 3-day online workshop. It is fully recorded, so if you can't join us live starting on Thursday, then, you know, all the recordings will be sitting there for you. Because when I came back from the property the other week, I was like, it was so strong. I was like, I'm being called to pass this knowledge on, like, now. Like, imagine, like, I know the shifts and what I felt and moving just that one little piece of land. I was like, imagine if, you know, other people around the globe are doing this as well, because that, you know, what we're mucking around with on the surface, let alone what's in the atmosphere and space and all that sort of jazz. When you have these tools, you can walk up to anywhere and do your purpose work now, right? This doesn't require any physical tools. You don't need to go out and buy anything, right? Because I will teach you how to do it without physical tools. Yes, you can use them if you want to, but you don't need them, right? And this is a really powerful thing that I'm so strong about teaching it. It's just, it has to happen and come out now, because everything is changing. And like I said, in the next 6 months, life is going to be very, very different. So let me just pop this in because I keep talking and I keep getting distracted. But it is very, very strong for me to be sharing this knowledge. And, you know, it's just that sense of like, you know, if everyone is doing this around the world, like, this is how we shift the globe. This is how we help our Mother Earth that is crying out for peace in her vibrational frequency, right? And like I said, if you're watching this live stream, you've probably been stepping up in your personal development work. You've been stepping onto your life purpose. You've been doing the work. And if you feel like you've hit a plateau, or if it feels mundane, or if you're just like, what's going on now? I thought this was right, and you're kind of doubting it all. You're in this transition phase, yeah? And if you, like I said, if you tune in, you'll feel that you're different inside. You're not the same person that you used to be 3 months ago, 2 months ago, let alone 6, 12 months ago, right? You have definitely changed. And this transition period now that feels awfully quiet, or you're wondering if it's working or what's going on, if you actually listen, it's because you've shifted and there's this space, because everything out there is actually really noisy and it's being rearranged and reset. And right now is your time to prepare. Do not stop doing what makes you feel good right now, because this is a potent, pivotal time right now as we move into ascension, that you probably feel your power increasing. You've probably felt your manifestation power, your sense of self, your self-worth, what you tolerate in your life and what you can just say no to anymore, right? You've probably felt those shifts. And if you have, it's not the time to stop those practices that make you feel good. It's not the time to sabotage. It's not the time to doubt yourself and go, oh, this isn't working anyway. Now more than ever is the time to step into who you are, trust it, and keep riding that horse of power and following your heart more than ever. Because the more we ascend, the more powerful we become. And that does scare people. And then we go over to sabotage and we go into this thing. That's why, like I said, in Life Purpose Mentorship, which there is only 3 days left, 3 days left, so it closes on Friday night, to get in at the $47 a month mentorship. The link is above me. So in there, it's like one of the first things I did was how to heal sabotage. Because as we ascend, you're welcome, Tina, we go into next level of power, and it's more than ever so potent and so important that we keep our focus on what we want more than ever, even especially the times when we think it's not working. Because if you really listen carefully, you'll be like, yeah, I've changed, I'm not the same. Why is it this quietness? Why does this feel like this? Because everything out there is rearranging, and you feel it. If you tune in strong enough or quietly enough, you will feel it rearranging and starting to come back to you in the rearranged new you. It's like it's being that vibrational match now, and the universe is bringing to you. It's had to just rearrange and shift out what's not working, and past stuff might have come up and you're like, yeah, no anymore, and you can feel it coming back. So now is not the time to stop. Now is not the time to doubt. Now more than ever is time to stay focused, because that is what's going to support you even when you don't feel like it. Your discipline is in turning up of what you know is right for you, even when it doesn't feel like it's working, because it is. In that quietness, that stillness. And our mother, the divine mother, is calling for you to step up more than ever. If you hear it, follow that call. If Heal the Land and learning the mediumship skills and taking, you know, the grids and the earth frequencies to the next level, the link is in the comments. Let me pin it to the top there for you. That starts in 2 days. It's a live online workshop, and I'm really excited to be sharing those skills and the tools, because I just want people around the world to be doing it. If it was like, you know, even just 4 of us or 14 of us or 40 of us around the globe doing this, like energetically and vibrationally frequency, oh my God, so powerful, because we all connect in that grid, all doing it. It's like holding Mother Earth. She's crying out for us, and when we return and step to her, she supports us more, and we all rise together. Deep, heart-centered, here, present, grounded, and deeply, deeply full of love, compassion, and forgiveness. That is what the earth needs right now. That is what our neighbor needs right now. That is what we need right now. So if you think that this can help somebody, please share it with them, comment their name, send it in a private message. If you're watching on YouTube, remember to please subscribe. And the link for Heal the Land is pinned to the top. If the Life Purpose Mentorship is calling you, it's only 3 days to get in. The link is above me there. There is so much content already sitting there, especially about shifting to next level, and then the healing, the sabotage that comes up, so that we can keep rising together and ascending. So we are all living on our unique life purpose, all synergistically in flow in the new earth, that we all have that vision. We want retreat centers. We want to live off the land. We want to have that sustainable earth. We all want our own properties of that. Or is that what we all want, our own properties? Or is this the new earth that we see that? Dear light workers, I call to you, please step up. Please follow your heart and trust with all your might, because now is such a powerful, important time for us to focus on what we want and what we know is possible. Lots of love to you, keeping it real as always. Namaste.